And I want to go over this video right here. This guy, Nero Cinema. Cool channel. A lot of good content. And it's funny because he's talking about the video that J Guy did. And I watched that video and I'm like, what? I ain't agree with a lot of what he was talking about. Nero Cinema went over it. And I agree with a lot of what he was talking about. So he is reacting to the J Guy video with his input. And I'm giving my input on both of their input because I agree with a lot of what he said and I disagree with a lot of what he said, but it also meets in the middle.
Commentary almost, nothing bad or anything. It's from JGod, and he posted a video saying the real reason players want easier lobbies in Call of Duty. It's a good video, you guys should go check it out. I'll put a link to it down there in the description. And in there, he kind of goes over the entire history of skill-based matchmaking in COD and ways that fans have tried to get around skill-based matchmaking, because wanting easier lobbies, according to JGod, and I think it's true, is kind of a core part of Call of Duty's history. I mean, fans want to reach the highs of going on nuke kill streaks and getting chopper gunners and AC-130s, and facing easier players is a shortcut to achieving those goals. It makes...
Alright, the argument here is why Call of Duty players want easier lobbies. It's not even necessarily that we want easier lobbies. We want that shit to be variable, and we want to be able to do good without being punished for doing good. Like, that's what it is. The old games, like he just was saying, like chasing a nuke streak, the chopper gunners, and AC-130s. I never got a nuke in my life, no Call of Duty. But I was also one of those players that can consistently, if we played 5 games, 2 of those games I was going to have high 40s, but the other games I was going to stay in the 30s in terms of my kills. Deaths would probably be anywhere between 10 to like 16. So we talking 48 and 12, 49 and 20, 35 and 16, like stuff like that. That was my numbers. I could keep consistently playing like that. Now you get one game like that, you instantly get put into a lobby where everybody just did that type of performance, but 2 times better. So it's weird. Like it's no, it really like, it's like what? It's like super like formulaic. Like they got a formula to this shit. It's like down to a science with how they do everything. That's what we don't want. We don't want easy lobbies. We just want it to be organic, like how it used to be. Like, yeah, skill-based matchmaking was in the game back then, but since 2019 up until now, it's a different skill-based matchmaking. That shit is not the same thing at all. This shit right now feel like some type of fucking science project, like a brainwash simulator or something. Like, it's so weird.
Sense, but it sort of frames COD players as these babies who just want everything handed to them. He goes on to talk about how, you know, there's other gaming communities out there, like there's so many games, and all of them have skill-based matchmaking, yet COD fans complain the most. And I don't think that JGod was implying that, you know, COD fans are babies, but again, if all games have skill-based matchmaking and we're the ones whining about it, it kind of paints our community in sort of a bad light. So I'm here to say that yes, Call of Duty fans do want easier lobbies, and by easier, I just mean lobbies that aren't specifically designed to hinder you, right? When Call of Duty was initially blowing up and taking the entire...
That's exactly what I just said. It's like the lobbies now, like they like are designed for you to do bad. It was like this before. If I got into a lobby and I was getting my ass beat, I'm like, damn, these niggas is nice. I can either stay in this lobby and get good as them eventually, like, and start to cook them, or just back out. Like after this match is over, back out and get into a new lobby altogether. Just search for all new players. Now the game does that automatically for you by choice, by force. You have no choice in that. It just breaks up the lobby automatically. It's like, okay, why?
Gaming world by storm. If you know, you know. If you were around back when COD was first blowing up, I'm talking like COD 4, MW2, Black Ops, like, it was crazy. And skill-based matchmaking did exist back then, but it basically did nothing. It would try to protect new players, brand new accounts, essentially. And I can remember many instances where I or somebody in my friend group would just start up a brand new account. We weren't doing it to reverse boost or anything. We would do this for a number of reasons. Maybe we wanted a new gamer tag. Maybe we just wanted to restart and see how good our stats could be, or we unlock all of our old camos, or maybe we just got a free 2 weeks of Xbox Live.
Now what he just said about creating a new account to see how good your stats would be starting from 0 up. That is some shit I did before on PS3, and you do notice a big ass difference when you start a fresh account and play. At my skill level, starting a new account, playing against those players, that shit is like cheating. So I get that, that's still in the game, but its tone is like weirdly different too now. But I don't care about that. I don't mind if that was taken out because it's like reverse boosting, but in like a practical kind of way. But let's keep going.
Included with a new game that we got. But either way, when somebody in our group had a new account, even back in Call of Duty 4 and World at War, if that person was the host, then the lobbies that we would join would be full of low-level players. Because of this, we know that some form of skill-based matchmaking did exist back in the day. There's been lots of conflicting stories in regards to that, but my own personal, anecdotal experience, it was around back in the day, but it wasn't something that was ever really discussed or thought about because it really didn't do anything. Call of Duty's matchmaking was actually good back then. When you joined a match in any of the golden era CODs, it was just based on your connection, pretty much. I mean, it wasn't uncommon to see several people throughout a session who had your area code as their clan tag, and you got a real sense for how you were doing as a player in those lobbies. With everybody joining the game with connection being the only real factor, you got to see the entire spectrum of the COD community. You had horrible players, you had incredible players, and you had everything in between.
That I agree with. You definitely had a total mixture of types of players back then. But the problem, two problems. A lot of people that played back then ain't the players that's playing now. And it seems like every player now is sweaty in some way, some form of way. They're sweaty somehow. So it's like now there's no real variety within the lobby, so to speak. Like there's no absolutely just terrible players, whereas before you would definitely get that. It didn't matter what level you was on, the other team or your team would have a totally just useless player. There's none of that no more. I don't understand how is that possible, but there's no variety to the lobbies. They all feel the same, especially with the meta thing. Everybody got the same weapon, same attachments, whatever. And then every game automatically feels the same beyond that too. It's like, bro, what is like...
And when a game sets up its matchmaking in this way, the player base gets a very consistently inconsistent experience, which is what I personally crave when I'm playing an online game. With everybody in the lobby just being thrown in there with connection in mind, some matches you have bad teammates, some matches you have great teammates, and the same was true of the other team. Matches had variety, gameplay was varied, and every match was dynamic and unique, and you saw how you would perform in all these different scenarios.
That's what I was just saying. Like, bro, it was some games, like I just said, I would go 30 and 12 and I only earned the chopper gunner. But then other games, I earned everything. I'm gonna give you Black Ops 4. I earned the goddamn sniper's nest, care package, UAV. I earned all of those 4 or 5 times each. In a game like that, I am having a complete blast. I don't give a goddamn what the other team is going through. I'm better than y'all at this moment. Like this is what's supposed to happen right now. Okay, the next game I can be on the other end of that. I was cool with both outcomes though. Call of Duty now wants to only give you good experiences, and that shit is fake. There's no such thing as an always good time. Like what the fuck?
And when you made that transition from being someone who was consistently at the bottom of the list to somebody who's now topping the charts, you know you did something great. And it's not because of an algorithm developed by some lizard men at Activision that you did well in your match. You went out there and did that shit. You did it on your own. You didn't need to wonder if your incredible match was a gift from the engagement gods. You just did well because you made good decisions and you were the best player in the lobby that consisted of your randomly selected peers.
That's my point. Just please give us back the randomness of the game where it was random. You can kind of dictate how the game goes if you play this algorithm game and skill-based game with Call of Duty. But don't nobody want to do that, bro. This is not a fucking like a chess match. They playing chess in a game that's not even set up to even play checkers. Like, bruh.
games have variety and matches are based on your connection, you actually get a much more accurate representation of how good you are at the game. When you see yourself improving, and to J God's point, putting up those big kill streaks, it felt incredible. Now, however, with skill-based matchmaking, you don't see that same improvement. You don't get those highs or even those lows that came with Call of Duty's old matchmaking system. Instead, you get a streamlined system where every match almost feels the same, which results in a feeling of apathy. At least for me personally, and I'm sure it's true for many of you out there as well. You get relegated to your skill bracket, and every match pretty much feels like the one before it. The other team will always be good. They will be sweaty, they will be jump shotting around corners, but still, they're going to have one, maybe two people on their team that kind of hold them back, and the same is going to be true of your team. Basically, the top 3 or 4 people on both teams decide the outcome of the game. Blowout scores are incredibly rare. Most matches are close in terms of score, and it's also rare for somebody to put up insane numbers because everybody in the lobby is of a pretty equal skill level.
That's what I be saying. Like, the shit is not even real. That's not realistic, bro. As many people that play Call of Duty, how the fuck is every match I play in the same? How? Like, no, bro. That shit is like, what the fuck is the word I'm trying to find? It's manipulation, but it's another word I'm trying to use that deals with how they deal with your mind. Like, they got some shit going on behind the scenes that's deeper than just matchmaking. Like, they got some weird shit. I was watching a video about this before, but I can't find it right now. I don't feel like looking for it, but just let niggas play. Let skill determine what happens in the match. Stop fixing matches. That's what it basically is. Like a fucking fixed match every time.
Obviously, humans are fallible, circumstances vary, but in general, crazy scores are not something that you really see consistently anymore. It's kind of similar to the scores you see when you watch pro players playing the tournament. For example, if somebody went, say, I don't know, 35-22 in a game of domination in that scenario, that's a pretty good score for a scenario like that. But the same is now true of public matches where everyone is going roughly even. The idea is to get everyone's stats as close to 1 as possible. The days of going 50-3 because you played well, got lucky with your kill streaks, and because you weren't playing against a full party of Twitch streamers are mostly behind us. Occasionally matches like that will slip through the cracks, but they are quickly adjusted with Activision's matchmaking system to almost punish you for doing too good.
Bro, real right. I remember in Modern Warfare 3 from this year, I got the score on my on my game when I like loaded up. Bro, I had 103 kills multiplayer. When I tell you every game after that was either laggy as hell or every player was just like damn near looking like they was aimbot. It's like, bro, the game put me in the craziest lobbies for like an hour straight after that. And I was camo grinding, so I stayed on and dealt with it, but I noticed, I'm like, bro, what?
You compare all of that to what it was like back in the day, and I think it's pretty clear why people want quote-unquote easier lobbies in COD. It's because back in the day, COD was fun. It was simple, it was relaxing, it was a core part of a lot of our development as teenagers and as young adults. It's a franchise that we love, and the games were so enjoyable because the better we got, the better we performed. We didn't have an artificial feeling when we did well in the game. What we felt was a true, uncontaminated sense of accomplishment, and that feeling is what kept us playing the game more and more because we could get better and better and keep on reaping the rewards of our efforts. Call of Duty does not have that anymore, and these other communities who complain about skill-based matchmaking, don't get me wrong, but not nearly as much as the COD community does, well, they haven't been around as long as COD. The sad truth is, like, the new gen of gamer don't even really know what it's like to play a game that was not designed by literal psychologists trying to milk every last second of player retention, player engagement, and cash from the pocket of the player base.
That's exactly what I was just saying. It's like a psychological experiment that they do with this shit, bro. Because of the way it is, it's like I said, it's too many players in this world that's playing this game that every time I play it feels the same way. It's no way, bro. And y'all want me to believe that it's just, oh no, that's just part of the game. That's the algorithm. No. Anything that's an algorithm or anything that deals with that word should let you know there's shit in place to make it happen. It's not happening organically, bro. That's what the problem with a lot of this shit in gaming is. It's not organic no more.
Games used to be made for fun. Of course, they made a ton of money off of it. Obviously, they are a business, but the more money a game made back in the day, likely the more fun it was. Problem is, now they're trying to take full control and monetize the fun that players have in an effort to milk them for as much as they can, and that is such a dark, dystopian way to go about things, especially when Call of Duty used to be the exact opposite of that. And COD is not the only game franchise like that. Madden is another prime example of that.
I'm glad this nigga said Madden. Yo, that's crazy, because that was the game I used to play the most, and I always link these two games together because a lot of my friends know I used to be heavy on Madden like I am on Call of Duty. I stopped playing that shit in 2020. The last Madden I bought was 2021 with Lamar Jackson on it. Once they found, I noticed what happened to Call of Duty. I noticed that shit in Madden first because they did it first. Once they find one mode that can make them a lot of money, they put all their effort into that and just totally strip the rest of the game because all the resources went to that one thing. Madden Ultimate Team absolutely smoked Madden overall. That Ultimate Team shit, trash. Superstar KO, trash. That shit right there is Warzone, but for Madden. What Warzone did to Call of Duty, Madden Ultimate Team did to Madden. Like, that shit is, I hate Ultimate Team, yo. I hate that shit.
I'm not going to go on this for too long, but Madden back in the day was all about just innovation, making the games as fantastic as possible, beating out the competition back when they were allowed to have competition. It was great. Then they came up with Ultimate Team, where every year they could try to milk hundreds of dollars from every person in the player base to try to pay to win themselves to the top of Ultimate Team. And then modes like Franchise, modes like My Player, modes like the normal traditional online, they all went down the gutter because
Warzone at the top, multiplayer, Franchise, Zombies all went to the side. Same shit.
they found their cash cow and that's all they care about. The same is true of Call of Duty. It used to be that the game sold because it was fun, it was engaging, it was enjoyable, and the better people were, the better they performed in the game without the matchmaking system deliberately trying to hinder them in an effort to make other people feel better. They've essentially found a way to monetize the fun that the player base has, and that is the biggest problem. Call of Duty's been around for so long that many of us remember what it was like before all this started happening, and that's why we're so vitriolically against skill-based matchmaking and why we talk about it so much, because there's still that sliver of hope that someday we're going to go back to the golden era of video games. Like, hopefully someday the skill-based matchmaking bubble is going to pop the same way loot boxes did, but I'm not sure it's ever going to happen because it's way harder for them to legislate stuff like skill-based matchmaking as compared to legislating gambling and loot boxes, supply drops, and things of that nature. Ladies and gentlemen, there you guys have it. I saw that JGod video today. Again, it's a good video. He goes over, like, it's very, like, well detailed. He obviously did, like, a ton of research. Like, he went...
The one thing I'll say about JGod, he'll bring up the things that people want to be talked about, addressed, but then he'll do all this, like, talking about something different, like, shortly after he very briefly touch on the main thing to, like, drown it out. I don't like that about what he do. I like his content. I watch him a lot, but I don't like that right there. It's like, bro, if you're gonna talk about something or if you're gonna do something, do it. That's why I said, again, I don't like to link up with other creators that much, because what I notice he do, he won't go hard on his friends that he know. I know he know them niggas is cheating. A lot of them. Not all of them, probably not all of them, but he know they are or have cheated. He won't bring up so much of it, or he won't go hard onto it. But when it's anybody else, somebody else, that nigga got the details to bring up channel at the channel at the channel, page at the page, scene at the scene, slowdowns. But with other stuff, it's just like, and then he goes into something different. I just don't really like that. Other than that, I watch his channel. He cool. He got a nice, little theme around his channel I like. But I'm out. I'm out of here. I'm out of here.